to school, ring the bell, brand new shoes, walking blues, climb the fence, books and pens. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
Do I think teachers are allowed to teach today? Is Common Core taking away some of that? I think what has happened over the years is, if you can imagine going to an art show, an outdoor art show where you've got these, let's say, 100 different booths. I think most people go to an art show to see the various types of art, the way artists can make something out of glass or metal or ribbons. And that used to be teaching. Teaching used to be an art form to a large degree. You got to take teaching techniques, put them into your very unique personality, and then reach as many kids as you can in as many ways you can. So we were artists. Now, if you can imagine going to the same art show, and after the 4th or 5th booth, you're noticing that you're seeing the same art. It's the same glass bottles. It wouldn't take us more than 5 or 6 trips down that aisle to say, this is all the same. I'm out of here. And I think that's what we've done to teaching. We are insisting today that teachers actually, that a group of 5 kindergarten teachers be on the same page at the same time with their kindergarten kids. We've forgotten that kids are individual. They come with their own standards, and you have to reach them where they are and move them forward. And every teacher will have different kids. So we have taken teaching and we have kind of turned it into a huge cookie cutter.
%30 seems awfully excessive to grade a student and his whole performance on this one day and this one moment and this one time on skills that, as a teacher, I'm not so sure that we know even what's on those tests. We're usually not allowed to look at the tests. The students aren't allowed to give us feedback on what's on the tests. So, it's really kind of a shot in the dark. 30% pass or fail, shot in the dark.
My position on a 30% grade requirement is that it's not necessary. I think it puts undue stress on children. I feel that if they've gone through an entire year of a class, that having everything count, or one test count 30% is not realistic, and it's not fair to the children.
It's the stress that we put on the test that creates the problems and reduces the chance of showing how successful our students are, because there's too much stress that's associated with the test.
Putting end of course tests for kindergarten, 1st and 2nd graders on everything that they do, again, puts stress on children. Do we really want to test them on their music class? Can they not have any fun? Do we want to make this about everything you do will be tested? Or do we want to give them an opportunity to have outlet and feel free to do something fun in school that I believe would then make them more interested in school? I think long term this might have some detrimental effects, that if everything is tested, I think that core subjects, I get it. But everything a child does, I think is unacceptable.
The problem comes when we try to measure the standards. And it's the high stakes measurements that create most of the problems in our classrooms today. So much rests on one exam. And because it rests on one exam, it makes it nearly impossible to meet the kind of standards that I'm talking about.
Research on remedial reading, it doesn't give you any indication that that's a good thing to do. The kids who are in remedial reading classes, and I would say probably as many as 90% of the kids in there read well enough to master their academic classes every day. They make A's, B's, and C's. We even have kids who are in honors classes, AP classes, and IB classes who are in remedial reading. Now, what does that say? That says whatever test is measuring them as a remedial reader is the problem. It's not the kids, it's not the teachers, it's the tests. And that's a real problem. A standardized test that these kids are taking is dominated with average and challenging difficulty questions. They're labeled average, average difficulty and challenging difficulty levels. And the average difficulty questions are designed so that an average of 45% of the kids will miss that question. The challenging questions in a reading test are designed so that an average of 80% of the kids will miss the question. Now, there is no one in the world that can tell me that that's an effective way to examine how a student can read. So when a student fails that class, as they are predicted to do to a 50 to 55% degree, they're put in a remedial reading class in spite of the fact that they're making A's and B's in their classes. So that's the wrong thing to do. The money that we spend on remedial reading teachers in the state of Florida every year is $813 million. 9,700 reading teachers teaching remedial reading in our secondary schools. And I will tell you that if we could put those same amount of dollars and teachers into exciting elective classes for kids, they would not only read better, but they would probably beat the school door down to get into the building with these exciting classes. So we really are missing out on an incredible opportunity by utilizing data from a test that was never designed to be used this way.
So that's where the devil is in the details. How do we take high standards and how do we measure them to know that we've achieved those standards?
In how to teach students, I don't think that we're meeting those needs. We should be meeting the students where they're at, and they all don't come in the same place. So they all don't come knowing, exactly what a prepositional phrase is because they were tested on it last year, check off the box. Now we can teach gerund phrases, check off the box next year. So they don't really learn like that. They don't grow like that. They grow in spurts. So we're testing them in a particular, to be at a certain level, and they're maybe out of the box, below the box, but when are they in the box? At any particular time they may be at a different location than what we're actually testing them on. And it gets frustrating because in my classroom I want to see that I can know where the kids are at, my students, and then I can hopefully help them grow from where they're at to a higher place. That's my job as a teacher, not to get them to an arbitrary place according to some standardized test, according to some legislator who he felt like 11th grade students or 10th grade students should be.
So we're about ready to turn teaching into I think almost a mockery of the profession. I think we're on the threshold of that. And the evidence of that is at no time have we lost this many teachers. I'm hearing the statistics are 50% of the teachers are leaving in 5 years. If that were policemen or firemen leaving in 5 years, 50%, we would be in an outrage in this country. We would think that we were not safe. How we have allowed that to happen in education, I will never be able to explain it.
I think ultimately it's going to make me leave the profession.
Keep going, please.
No, I'm just saying I can't, I can't teach like they want me to. So, sorry.